Hello, my name is Dr. Khadijah Ali-Coleman. I am a scholar, playwright, poet, singer-songwriter, and founding director of Liberated Muse Arts Group. I'm also a member of the Baltimore-based writers group Zora's Den, which was inspired by the work and the life of the late multi-disciplinary artist and scholar we know as Zora Neale Hurston. Today, I will share with you poems and songs that I have written over the years in celebration of Kwanzaa and in reflection of my experiences here in the United States as a person of African descent. I'm a mother, a cultural architect, a student of life who practices Kwanzaa's Nguzo Saba 365 days a year. The 7 principles are sacrament. They are the blueprint for incorporating daily practice of nation building in our home and our greater community. The work that I present today will have themes that are specific to Kwanzaa's principles, to my experiences as a mother, and to my beliefs regarding the liberation of African peoples. Some of the poems will be presented to you as visual poems. Some will be read by me here. One is a song. And I wanted to add some variety to the way that you receive my messages today. So I hope that you will enjoy my presentation. And at the end of my set, I will include ways for you to connect with me and to support my work. I start with sharing with you my poem, Ali-Coleman. So this poem tells the story of my last name, yes, but it also illustrates the second principle of Kwanzaa that we call Kujichagulia, which means self-determination. Here is Ali-Coleman. My last name sounds like rebellious fury. It is the inconvenient tongue movement necessary to say 2 full last names to address one fully formed person. 2 last names tied together in defiance by a hyphen. My last name tastes like a repast of soul food and sundown meditation, a full-bodied flavor of carefree, unconventional attitude. An unlikely domestic partnership between slave master and the holiest of jihads, a dash of union that some pretend not to see or are too ignorant to understand how to use properly. No, I'm not Ms. Ali. No, I'm not Ms. Coleman. Never have been. My last name is Ali-Coleman. It holds a story of its own to tell. It is a remnant of brutal enslavement and the clink of broken chains, a declaration by my father that he was a self-defining man who had outgrown the limitations of his cell outside and within. He, freshly liberated from prison after a false accusation by a white female, had donned a new religion generously gifted by the Nation of Islam. Before fully rebuking his full government name to fully emerge as the Muslim Baraka Ali, he grabbed his last name of Coleman and attached it firmly to Ali with the wisp of a line, creating the last name Ali-Coleman to be placed carefully on my birth certificate during that early winter of 1973. While having the first name Khadijah made attendance taken akin to calculus for my teachers, when I was growing up, many of them displayed the lazy tendency often to choose part of my name to call aloud. I had the countering tendency to not respond until they said my entire last name or made sure to publicly inform them that it was not either or. Just like you can part your lips to say Olivia Newton-John, it's that simple. Remember Mary McLeod Bethune or Ida B. Wells Barnett? No? Well, you're going to learn today. I Googled my last name on Monday, and I am still the only Ali-Coleman with a hyphen I can find. It still aggravates me a bit how less than obvious my ancestry is with this name, I confess. My last name hides cleverly the sharecropper hands of my great-grandmother Susie Lewis's father and the lilting laugh of my great-grandmother Lucinda Davis, who sings to me in my dreams. And although their last names are not attached to mine, they celebrate my uniqueness. My last name does not acknowledge my beloved grandfather Calvin Henry Holt or even my own mother, who replaced her last name 3 times before her death in 2014. It was never Ali, Coleman, or the union of them both. I am the only Ali-Coleman I know, evidence of my daddy's freedom, rebellious fury. My name's indignant birth has marked me for a life of entrapment and paradise. Religiously and racially profiled, my last name bucks at bitch-ass European names that shudder at its audacity. It stands menacingly over the shuddering sameness of last names naked of a hyphen. This name leads some to assume my identity is maleness, wearing a kufi and selling a bean pie. Built brawn hovering above the emaciated masculinity of mediocre whiteness, this name shouts in the lost language of my captured ancestors, punches the face of entitlement and redlining, and census records documenting my kin as sold property, as chattel to be loaned out. I wear this last name in memorial to the moment my father felt ready to envision his life anew. To the second the Creator deemed me worthy of wearing a creation crafted specifically for me, with no predecessor, no model. The lack of repetition is sometimes stifling, always a reflection of liberation. Ali-Coleman.
Kujichagulia be like a room full of brown girls named Aisha, Laila, and Asantua, naming their babies Bina, Khadijah, and Tamika, knowing that employment may not come no easier, 'cause here the Euro names may sound a bit more pleasier. But Kujichagulia be like, here is her. My baby girl is realer though than your name's blared in stereo. Her mind is brighter than the serious, and we serious. We choose all of this while we stack your idea of school on a shelf, grow our gardens, planting wealth, remembering ain't nothing more valuable than choosing who you gon' be. Kujichagulia, I determine who is me.
This next poem is called Cultivation. When we think of that word, it is often in relation to planting. During Kwanzaa, the theme of planting and harvesting is a metaphor that is significant because it recognizes the relationship between investing effort and reaping reward. This poem considers the ways that we cultivate our relationship to each other as Black people. It will be followed by my visual poem that I dedicate to my daughter, Kari Isabel Soleil. That poem is titled Baby Girl Turns 15. But now here is cultivation. From the roots nestled in drum patterns and the currency of Cowrie, we have floated like feathers, sometimes unsure where the wind will blow us, sometimes with urgency of quicksilver in our veins, hastening the movement of our feet to save the eggshell fragile delicateness of our lives. We emerge triumphant, wearing courage as covering to push back the daggers of ego that contest our will and right to be because our skin absorbs the light. Cultivating an inner strength that makes decimation impossible, we grow from strong seeds, prayed over by the musical tongue of the Geechee, metamorphed into magic by the Black Creole, and saged proper by the indigenous natives of this land. We grow into mighty trees, and our leaves will share this journey as they too take root and become. For as we bloom and blossom, we may fall from the weight one day, and the leaves, oh, the leaves, refashioning into the seeds, will one day know this way. And as we pray over them in the softest of tones, we instill in them our resilience. Cultivation.
You are 10,000 hours of joyful song, and no more do I linger in darkness or quiet. Would you mind if I held open arms for you to seek solace when you are sad? I have been your teacher, so nothing is sweeter than seeing summer on you, shaping you into a young woman approaching her dreams, healthy and glimmer glorious, unwrapping the golden cord around your wrist ever so gently. But sometimes, Cheshire grins, straight turns with tears on my face, upturned to the sky, watching you cautiously fly, fall, and I hold an extra parachute just in case.
This next poem, Ujima, is inspired by the Kwanzaa principle of the same name that means collective work and responsibility. It will be followed by my visual poem titled Preparation for a Funeral. Ujima is responsibility of everyone who benefits from the pot. It's the pooling of resources. It's action with forethought. During segregation, we ran our schools, built stores, ran cities, built commerce, but our efforts were torched and ruined so. We believe autonomy would be worse, so we forget our communal ways, forget our natural affinity to work together. We commune now only when convenient, solely in fair weather. But Ujima requires commitments that may take more than overnight, a plan that leads to action, requiring resources, spirit, and fight. I put in, you contribute, we push on even if we disagree. Without Ujima, our efforts never manifest, so honor, collective work, and responsibility.
When someone close dies, folks gather, steaming pots of food cooked, babies tended to, money collected to help the family as they grieve, as they bury their loved one, then life resumes. What if we treated each day as preparation for a funeral, cook for one another, raise our children within villages we all tend to, collect money to build and support those villages, keep it all but the grief and death. Instead, we build together wealth, and life resumes.
So this next poem is called For the Girls Who Do Too Much. One of the things that I think it's important during Kwanzaa, for those who celebrate it, whether during the 7 days in December from the 26th to the 1st of January, or for those like me who really try to live the Nguzo Saba throughout the year, it's important for us to recognize that collectively as Black people, we are every day trying to come to terms with who we are, our present existence, our history, while also trying to cultivate a future for us that is free from the weight of many of the traumas and the triggers that are part of really our existence in this country and in this world globally. As Black women, many of us take on the responsibility of doing too much, whether it's mothering and nurturing those who are not appreciative and not deserving, but mothering and nurturing while falling short of caring for ourselves. And so this poem is a reminder, particularly during this time of Kwanzaa, to the girls who do too much, that it is important that you find balance and learn, if you don't know already, how to love yourself. Learn to and be able to sustain that love so that you can, in turn, have love for others. For the girls who do too much, who check on folks, who hold space for others, love easily, express freely, hurt harder, fall quietly, weep softly. May you wrap your wonder around yourself, breathe in your beauty when others spill their attention on those less deserving. May you caress your own sensitive soul by remembering to tend to your blooming magic, and always adorning your spirit with kind words, and reminding your heart each day that you matter. You matter. You matter.
The usual stuff they tell you isn't true. There is no money fix or pathway to a better you. In the bottle or in the pill, the only choice you have is really to be real. I feel ya. Sometimes this life seems just to be a joke. Don't let it kill ya, get you down, or even make you choke. It's like a film, yeah, only one you can't rewind. At the end of it, you'll find you were the star. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. Even when it gets too rough, believe me, you are enough. Don't hesitate to feel, oh, you are perfectly real. I feel ya. Sometimes this life seems just to be a joke. Don't let it kill ya, get you down, or even make you choke. It's like a film, yeah, only one you can rewind. At the end of it, you'll find you were the star. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. The pressure sometimes keeps on rising, and what's before you keeps on lying, telling you less than you truly are. Don't forget, my dear, you are a star. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me. My name is Dr. Khadijah Ali-Coleman. You can learn more about me at Khadijah Ali-Coleman and that's Ali-Coleman with a hyphen. Or you can also follow me on Instagram at Khadijah Online, on Twitter at Khadijah Online, or on Facebook at Khadijah Online. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Happy Kwanzaa!